Well, I think we're live. Don't. You heard anything we just talked about? You didn't
Were we
hear anything?
live?
Yeah, I don't know. It might have been something about a little poison.
If
But
something happens to me, Ashley did it.
if you guys never hear from us again, just know that there's two people running around the world with a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because insurance, you got to insure your. Talk about insuring your house, your car. But what's the most valuable asset you have? Yourself, your life,
your future income.
your future income. Correct.
Mm.
Life insurance, something that you guys do over here at the Hague Insurance Agency.
What we were talking about before air is just we're concerned that my wife, I don't know about your wife, but like murder docs, like all that, she would know exactly how to get away with it.
I mean, here's the crazy part, right? So you're gonna get, potentially life insurance claim.
Yep.
You'll probably get a book deal, and maybe a Netflix show.
Just set.
Right? Could be worth $400 million like that.
Mm. All right.
You know what else? You might need $400 million if you're the San Diego Padres.
Yeah, what's up with them?
All right. So, article comes out like last week about they get a $50 million loan to cover payroll.
Jeez.
Here's what's more interesting. They actually had an offer for a $100 million loan. MLB stepped in and said, no, you can only get $50 million.
Okay.
How does that happen?
How does that happen?
A lot of different ways. So, we're talking about budget stuff today. And I thought this was actually kind of interesting because I have a current situation going on with the customer. We're talking about his story too and how we flipped it around. But really how it happens is you got Scott Boras in your pocket. Everyone that follows baseball, Scott Boras, notorious. We're not going to arbitrate. We're going to go to free agency. We're not taking long-term deals early on. We're going to just smoke these teams for huge contracts.
Okay.
The Padres have 5 Scott Boras players on their team.
He's an agent?
He is an agent.
Okay.
If you want money, he is your agent.
Okay.
If you want to piss off the team you're playing for, he's your guy.
Okay.
So that's how the Padres end up with the 3rd highest payroll.
Is there a cap in baseball? Is there an amount of money that they can't go over for payroll?
So this baseball is a very interesting sport in that we talk about the big ones.
Okay.
There's not a hard salary cap. There's not even really a soft salary cap. What they have is the competitive balance tax, or as you hear in baseball and basketball, the luxury tax.
Okay. So if you want to go spend $1 billion on players,
you can.
But they're going to tax you over.
It's going to cost you an outrageous amount of money.
Okay.
And that's where the Padres end up. The Yankees are historically have been the biggest perpetrator of this. But baseball has put in these new penalties, and the Padres are backed into a damn corner on this. And the difference, though, you talk about the Yankees, you talk about a team that has probably an infinity value. I don't know.
Their brand is insane.
Yeah, you got brand. You also have pedigree, historical championships. You have all that stuff.
Biggest market in baseball, probably.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you share New York with the Mets. Now, I've got a lot of Mets fans.
No.
But you still have the biggest market share in a city where there's 2 baseball teams.
Right.
It's incredible. But we're talking about San Diego.
Yeah.
Spanish for
something.
Yeah, we don't know. Budget busting. Or lack of financial management, WTF. So you have 3rd highest payroll in baseball.
Okay.
You're in the bottom 3rd in media market share.
Oof.
But you do have the 2nd highest ticket sales.
Okay. But there's not a lot of revenue from that.
Not a lot.
Not comparatively.
It's pretty crazy. So they sold out 61 games.
Okay.
So here, you figure, I didn't even do the math on this one this morning, but I don't know, 61 games. I don't know how many people even fit in that park.
Let's just say it's 60,000.
That's probably way too much for baseball.
40,000.
Yeah, so by 40,000, by what, $50 a ticket?
Sure.
So that's $122 million.
Okay.
All right, their payroll is in like the 240, 250 range. But now, so here's the thing. We talk about salary caps, right? Baseball doesn't have one. Basketball does, but they both have luxury tax. So luxury tax implications in the NBA less than they are in baseball.
Okay.
Baseball luxury tax calculation is on the 40-man roster, not the 26-man roster.
Okay.
So usually you always hear, well, it used to be 25-man roster, last CBA and COVID and all that stuff. Hey, we'll give you one more player in case you can play a doubleheader. So you normally have 26 people that are traveling with you. You have a 40-person roster for options up and down from AA, AAA, all that stuff.
Okay.
So that 40-man roster counts towards your luxury tax threshold or your.
So all the 40 players' salaries count towards
yeah.
the
So
tax.
they're calculated with their average annual value. So
Okay.
if you have a contract that basically says, I'm going to get $20 million this year plus bonuses.
Divided out by the contract.
Yep. That's how it works. Totals it all up. All right. At the end of the year, so December 2nd, Rob Manfred or whoever the commissioner is says, here's the numbers you guys owe. You owe it by January 21st. Your rent's due.
So it's almost like putting your payroll on a credit card.
In this case, yeah, and here's why. We'll go into the deep calculation on it, but you have your normal payroll, right?
Yeah, 200 million. Call.
Yep.
Okay.
So now you're paying payroll tax, everything else on that.
Yep.
And then you're gonna have to pay an additional tax on the amount of money that you paid to MLB for revenue sharing.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Let's talk real quick though. The Padres have some, as I was doing some research on this, they have a couple interesting characters in their previous ownership history.
And by that you mean dubious?
No, not dubious. Ray Kroc.
Okay. Dubious,
Yep.
if you really know.
Yeah, correct. Which is why the second owners, Joni Kroc, Ray Kroc's third wife.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
He's on the trifecta.
She took the name, though.
Yeah.
Good for her.
TV producer Tom Werner. And then obviously you're Cubs fans, so you're going to know some of these names as previous executives: Theo Epstein, Jed Hoyer. They've had Sandy Alderson and their executive team who ran the Mets. This is funny, right? So he ran the Mets into a huge salary tax or luxury tax implication too. Then AJ Predler is the current GM. He's been there since 2014.
Who's the current owner?
Pete Seidler.
Who's that?
Exactly. No one really knows who he is. He's one of these mysterious private equity guys.
Okay. So infinite money.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you would think. So he has like $5 billion in assets under management, which if you're comparing it, not really a ton of money.
No.
Borrowed some money from his uncle to buy the team. A lot of borrowing here. But Pete Seidler, all right, and his Pete Seidler Bay Equities, whatever they're called. They got a couple interesting things. Real strategy though. They have an equity share of Rawlings, the baseball glove company. So we'll fix the budget. We get some free gloves.
Right.
You want some free batting gloves? We get some baseballs. That expense is eliminated. But we were talking about beverages and all this stuff. Jarritos, the Mexican soda, whatever you want to call it, the orange one, the green one. They develop or have a company that has that stuff available as a fountain drink.
Cool.
And everyone talks about private equity and how they're bad. It's they're mean people. This company did acquire the original slushy at some point.
Wow.
Yeah.
With the dog, the little slushy dog.
Yeah. With the and the registered trademark.
Right.
Those things that gobble up your actual personal budget when you're at the gas station. So it's funny. It's everyone's in everyone's pocket here, right? You got Scott Boras is in these guys' pocket. Pete Seidler and all of his companies are in your pocket at the gas station. So that's Pete Seidler. He's got a little bit of money, but obviously doesn't want to put more cash into this. Baseball, a lot of times you have your principal owner, and then you got like 15 to 20 minority owners on there, right?
Board.
Yeah. They're like, oh, well, guess what? We're way over the luxury tax. Everyone ending up a couple million.
Sure.
Nah, we'll go borrow it. Forget about that. How'd they get there, though, right? So they talk about contracts. You got Xander Bogaerts, 11 years, $280 million.
Good God.
Yu Darvish, 6 years, $108 million. Doesn't was arm
Former
broken?
Cub.
Yeah, exactly. Manny Machado, 11 years, $350 million. Thank God the White Sox bailed on that one. And then you got Fernando Tatis, who has a 14-year, $340 million contract.
Good God.
All right. And now they're talking about Juan Soto, who's owed $23 million this year for 1 year. All of a sudden, your payroll just explodes, right? So now you're running this payroll. You get into the salary tax situation. The MLB, hey, we're not going to have this cap, but we're going to tax the living heck out of you all of a sudden if you start doing this year after year after year, right?
Dig a hole.
So year one, You got 20% of the amount over whatever they determine the number is going to be each year. Year 2, it's 30%. Year 3, it's 50%.
Oh, so if you stay above it, it goes.
It escalates. And then it gets even crazier. Then there's a surcharge based on the amount you exceed by and how many times you've done it. So for the Padres, well, here, we'll talk about this real quick. 2022, total luxury tax, there's like 5 or 6 MLB teams, $78 million.
Jeez.
Padres 2022 luxury tax penalty is $1.5 million. It's a drop in the bank, right?
Not
2022, but we'll talk about the Padres. 21 didn't make the playoffs. 22 went to the NLCS. This year, they didn't make the playoffs again. All right?
Sounds like a losing bet.
Correct. This year, though, so 2023, they are $63 million over the threshold.
Okay.
All right? 63 million amongst a few friends. Don't worry about that. Now, it's the 3rd year they've been in the luxury tax. All right?
So half?
Correct. So they have a $31.5 million penalty on top of that 63. So that 63 is quickly $90 million. All right? Now it gets crazier, Adam.
Okay.
There's an additional surcharge because they're over $40 million, right? So that $63 million is going to cost them $44 million in tax.
Oh.
Now, it's not tax to the government. It's paid to the MLB. The MLB splits it out over lower market teams and all teams that don't exceed this. But that destroys your budget.
Yeah.
That is why, guess what? Hey, we need a $50 million loan for payroll. Well, it's because you got a $44 million tax penalty obligation coming up.
Man. Sounds like bad money management.
Well, but we just talked.
Unless they're making money.
Well, that's what's interesting. How are you making money? Your ticket sales is $122 million. Now you got
TV.
You got some other
I
stuff.
don't know. Maybe they're making money. But if you're not winning, that's the point. You got to win to make money in any sport.
Why would you want to pay? But this is the Kirk Cousins theory. Like, look at when he was on the Redskins or whatever, the Commanders, whatever they are, right? You go 3 years on these non-player contract situations, and he's making $35 million.
I'd like to make that.
But this is here. Let's talk about this from a budget planning perspective, though, right?
Right.
These numbers are huge.
Right.
But if you really, really look at them, you can boil it down into your personal situation. Do you have a situation, Adam, or whoever's actually watching this at some point, right, where you think that it's only going to cost you $60 million? Well, you got a $44 million penalty, and so now it's costing you $100 million to borrow something, or something costs $60 and it really costs you $100.
Yeah.
Do you have a Scott Boras in your pocket? I don't know. I've had that before. I want to tell you guys about a story real quick, though, about a customer, why that this kind of came up and thought this was a really good fitting, timely situation. So we got Mr. Customer. We'll call him Mr. Scott for the sake of this, right?
Got it.
Comes to me and says, Tony, I'm self-employed. I've been self-employed for 8 years. My business is booming, but my bank account's not. Like, all right, Mr. Scott, what's going on? Like, tell me about your business, right? He does IT development, IT management, that kind of stuff. I'm like, oh, that's perfect. Like, especially COVID, remote work. He's in a prime thing. He also does real estate.
Cool.
But it's like, yeah, it's growing. But every month I got $4,000 a month in my bank account, $4,000 in my bank account.
Money's coming in, but it's going out. Where's it going?
Exactly. So, like, well, you got to look at this, Mr. Scott. You spent a bunch of money to scale your business, to acquire new equipment, new technology, all of this stuff. I'm like, you probably got roped in all these credit card offers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, 0% for 12 months, points, cash back, all of this stuff. Well, you went to the well. Your business grew. You got to that 12-month mark, and then all of a sudden, it just blew up on you.
Cha-ching.
Right?
Yep.
Now all of a sudden you got all this more money. You're not contributing in this case to a SEP IRA. You're not taking it. You've eroded all the benefits of being self-employed too.
By borrowing too much money.
By borrowing money that you weren't disciplined or didn't have a plan.
Yep.
Or sometimes this life happens, right? Well, all of a sudden you got 11 credit cards. Imagine the stress you got every month, like to even remember to pay those.
Yeah.
Paying minimum payments. So like, all right, Mr. Scott,
Whoop.
Yeah, there we go. Cut that. Mr. Scott, let's look at this. You got tons of equity in your house.
Okay.
You got a low interest rate on it. But guess what? That low interest rate doesn't mean anything, right? A 3.5% interest rate on a debt that's going to be amortized over 30 years. It's nice, but guess what? You got $74,000 in credit card debt at 28% interest.
Woof.
That will destroy your budget. That's, hey, I'm making all this more money, but it's not showing up in my bank account.
So I think I know where you're headed here.
We said, all right, you got this equity.
Yep.
Let's talk about cash out refinance.
Bingo.
It's not pretty. Everyone thought, hey, you're going to reset the clock. I've already paid down this. You're going to reset this. You're rolling that in. It's not a fair comparison. Well, Mr. Scott, this is what we can do for you, all right? We're going to save you $3,000 a month in monthly cash flow.
Yikes.
That's a $36,000 a year after-tax raise.
Boom.
So it's what, $48,000? We've talked about taxes on here. It's a $48,000 a year raise. It's $4,000 a month. Like,
you can knock out your credit card debt in 2 years.
No, it's all wrapped in there. So it's all gone. So your total outflows from budget, budget yesterday was, we'll say $9,000. Now your outflows are $6,000.
Mm-hmm.
All of your credit card debt's gone, erased, bam, like that. And I guess it's actually transferred to your mortgage, but it's not gobbling up your monthly budget, right?
Exactly.
Say, hey, Mr. Scott, let's talk about this. So you got $3,000 extra a month that you've been dealing with. You've already had it coming out. You're just treading water. Let's do this. Let's take $1,200 to $1,500 of that and apply it to principal on that new mortgage. Yeah, that new mortgage rate's a little higher.
Sure.
Right? 7.99.
A lot less than the credit card.
Exactly. And it's amortized over 30 years. But say, hey, Mr. Scott, you do this, $799. You pay an extra $1,200 to $1,500 a month on that. That mortgage is gone in 9.5 years, maybe 10 years.
Instead of 40, like the credit card.
Yeah. So now your credit cards are gone. Oh, I mean, they're wrapped into that mortgage. And now that thing, all of your debt is gone in 9 years. All of it.
Nice.
So you, on top of that, right? That was only $1,500 to $1,200 to $1,500 to $3,000 in savings.
Yeah. The rest of it
goes into a SEP IRA, something like that. Leverage your tax advantages there. And now you're building a nest egg, and then you have a free and clear house in the next 9 to 10 years. You know this. I know this. I don't know if everyone else knows this, but your primary residence is your biggest access to capital in any situation.
Yes.
You're going to get the most favorable terms borrowing against your primary residence. Whether it's line of credit, a business loan, anything. If you have equity in that house, you're going to have access to capital. You can scale. You can do things responsibly. You don't get roped into this credit card situation. And the refi and the interest rates they're a little high. If I can still get you from today, where you got $140,000 mortgage balance, $70,000 in credit cards, debt, $210,000 in debt in 8 to 9 years with some discipline, get you down to almost nothing.
It's awesome. Yeah, you said some before we started. You said there was some stats about credit card debt in the United States.
Yeah, Q3.
What is it?
$1.08 trillion.
That's insane.
Yeah, so we even try this on a calculator.
Mine won't even go that high.
Yeah, turn it sideways like this.
Oh,
so,
is that how you do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what's that? That's 100 million. That's a billion.
Yeah, another 3.
That's a 10. So 1 trillion, right?
Wow, you can turn it sideways.
Know that. Then it gets like that E. It's like this power.
Messes me up.
I did a lot of math in high school and college, and I still can't figure that one out. We'll say we'll multiply that 18. By 18%.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably right.
All right, and then we'll divide that by 12.
Yes.
So
$15 billion.
$15 billion is the monthly minimum payment of the United States credit card debt. $15 billion.
That's just to keep it up current. So I think if I can just digest that for a second, mortgage rates are scary. Well, we've talked earlier in this program that historically they're about average. But what's happened is home values have still gone up. Am I right?
You are right.
So you probably, if you are a homeowner, have equity in your house. If you have debt that's unsecured, credit cards, any other type of unsecured debt, you can take and access the secured debt in your home and take that interest rate down by at least half, probably more, to create more room in your budget to become debt free. Because that's not bad. There's good debt.
There's good debt,
definitely a bad debt.
Well, correct. Like, think about this. Are you the San Diego Padres?
Are you the Padres?
Are you paying an outrageous amount of tax or interest, and you're getting to the playoffs once in 3 years?
Mm.
And now you got to borrow more money you're borrowing. Now you're borrowing bad debt again.
Yep.
You're not getting results on it. Now you look at you borrow all this money to get there, and now you're looking at getting rid of Juan Soto. So like you're getting rid of all-stars that help drive up your ticket sales.
So your revenue is going to go down because you're going to be losers.
So it's happening pretty much.
Yeah.
Like to the point where you got to lie in your baseball stadium about how deep the fence is because you want home runs. Like it's all a racket. But at the end of the day,
yes,
this happens to everyone. To everyone. People aren't just. So I guess there's lucky people in life, right? But I looked at my budget and I was like, holy, the bad word starts with S. I gotta get this thing under control too. Like it happens to everyone, and it's scary and it's tough. And I get that, you get that. It just takes a phone call and a couple questions.
Yeah, there's
it's
people
not
that can
judgment.
help. There's experts that can help. And if you are in that situation where your credit cards, you're looking at them and you're scared to even open the statement that comes every month, just call somebody and talk about the equity in your house. Because
I got in a raise. I got a 10 or 12% raise in the last year and a half, and my bank account's still the same.
Yeah.
Or my bank account's declining. Everything's more expensive, right? So now all of a sudden, you charge that, you're getting the points. I thought I was the points king for a long time.
You might have been.
I could have been. I had the Southwest Companion Pass for like 4 or 5 years in a row. But then it's like, all right, well, I paid all this money on a credit card, and I'm not really flying anywhere because COVID happens and everything else. And it's not, but sometimes it's not worth it. So if you want someone that's having an honest conversation with you, reach out to me. You guys reach out to Adam's team. We'll help you with the budget.
Most people are surprised about how much of their budget goes to food. It's insane.
Oh, that's
like on a percentage basis.
Oh, it's insane. Just regular food. Then you factor in DoorDash and all that other stuff.
Grubhub, Taco Bell at 12 at night or at 12 in the afternoon. Just depends.
12:01.
Same price.
They don't got the midnight menu. But it happens to everyone. We want you guys to know that. And we also want you to know, if you're in the situation, other people are in it too. Let us help you navigate out of it. One thing.
How much you charge for that advice, Tony?
$0.
Unbelievable.
I don't want people to be in bad situations. We've had other people on. We had, Bill Bloom on. He designed an app because his family, as he was growing up, they went through tough financial situations. My family growing up, we went through tough financial situations. I don't know about your family.
Yes.
It happens. And when you're 15, 16, 17, 18, you don't really understand it. But when you're 30, 35, 40, all of a sudden you really start to understand it. You understand the gravity of it. You don't want to see people go through that situation.
There's always a way out too. I think people get in a spot where they're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm never going to get out," and then it starts to spiral. But there is.
Let me ask you this question: on your refrigerator at your house,
yes,
do you have your mortgage statement with your interest rate highlighted on it?
I do not.
Me either. That's not your interest rate on your mortgage is not a report card. Those things were artificially low for 2.5 to 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Your scorecard, where you keep score as a human, is dollars in the bank and net worth.
Mm-hmm.
So who cares about your interest rate on your mortgage? You're not losing on that one. You're losing on that credit card.
I'm never paying off my house. We can talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll do that one next week or something. But yeah, that's it. Don't be the San Diego Padres. Don't be Pete Seidler. Don't spend $90 million extra dollars because you spent $30 million, or don't spend $100 extra dollars because you spent $30.
Give us a call.
Moral of the story.
We'll figure out how to get your debt in the right place. Reach
out to Adam. AdamIsMyAgent.com. You get me at plywithjr.com. We'll keep talking about this now until Christmas because we got 1.08 trillion reasons to do it.
Love it.
See you guys next week.